The moment I realized something was wrong with my skin was when I was still in school and people started making comments about my face. And not in a joking way, but in a very real way. And that's when it hit me that this wasn't just a few pimples, I had real acne. And the worst part is I felt ugly because of it. Even when I was going to the gym, even when I had a decent body, I always felt like I had to compensate for my skin. And I tried everything people recommended. I trained more, I ate what I thought was healthy, I followed skincare routines, and I went to doctors. My mom is literally a cosmetician, so I had access to every product you can imagine. Every cleanser, every cream, every mask, and every treatment in the world. And the funny thing is, none of it worked. Not short term, not long term. It sometimes got slightly better, but it always came back. And at some point I understand something important. You can put all the products on your face that you want, all the washes, all the creams, and all the routines. But if your internal system is broken, none of it will work. Acne is not a skin problem, it's a systematic problem. And if you actually want to fix it long term, there are only three things that matter: hormones, gut health, and external factors. And if even one of these stay messed up, acne stays. It doesn't matter how healthy you think you eat, it doesn't matter how much you train, it doesn't matter how expensive your skincare is. The skin is just the output. And don't forget to subscribe my channel to not miss out on more value content that will follow. Leave a like and write a comment on which content I should do next. So in this video I'm going to break down what actually causes acne, what drives inflammation in the body, and why most people stay stuck for years. And not with any random tips, but by explaining the system behind it. Because the difference between having acne and having clear skin is not just how you look. It completely changes how you feel, and when your skin is bad, you walk into a room already thinking about it. You talk to people and part of your attention is always on your face. And I lived like that for a long time. Training, eating healthy, and doing everything I was told. But still feeling like something was wrong with me. And the reason was very simple. I didn't understand the system yet. So let's actually look at it. So here you can also see a difference. 1 year ago, I had still very much acne in my face. I had very many pimples in my face and my skin was very irritated. But now my skin is very clean. I don't have any acne anymore and my skin just looks way healthier. So everything around acne can be divided into three main systems: hormones, gut health, and external factors. And all three directly influence your skin. Your skin is just the final output. And what you see on your face is the result of what's happening inside your body. And the first system we have to understand is hormones. Because hormone basically controls two things that matter for acne: how much oil your skin produces and how inflamed your body is. And most people think acne is about bacteria or dirty skin, but it's really not. It's about internal regulation. And the most important hormone in acne is insulin. And if your blood sugar is constantly high, your insulin is also constantly high. And high insulin changes your entire hormonal environment. High blood sugar leads to high insulin, which increases androgen activity, which also increases sebum production, which leads to clogged pores. So acne is not random, it's a metabolic signal. And this is why the first thing you have to fix is blood sugar stability. That means fewer insulin spikes, no constant snacking, no liquid calories, and meals that actually keep you full instead of hungry again after an hour. The goal is not perfection. The goal is giving your system a stable signal instead of chaos all day. So next we come to the androgens. Androgens, and mainly testosterone and DHT, directly stimulate the sebaceous glands. More androgen activity means more oil production. But the problem is usually not too much testosterone, it's wrong regulation. And the skin becomes overly sensitive to normal hormone level. So even balanced hormones create too much sebum. And that's why two people can have the same blood values but completely different skin. And the way you influence that is indirectly, not with hormone blockers, but by fixing the basics. Stable nutrition, enough calories, enough protein, not under-eating, not overtraining, and not constantly stressing your body. Because when the system feels safe, hormones regulate themselves. And then there's cortisol, the stress hormone. And chronic stress increases systematic inflammation. It weakens the gut barrier, activates the immune system, and slows down skin regeneration. And if your nervous system is constantly in fight or flight, your body is in survival mode and not healing mode. And skin is one of the first things the body stops caring about. So here it's not about meditation apps or hacks, it's about reducing chronic stress at the source. Better sleep, fewer stimulants, less constant pressure, and a lifestyle that doesn't keep your nervous system activated from morning to night. And the last one is the thyroid. The thyroid controls your metabolic rate, and metabolism controls how fast cells renew themselves. So skin cells are supposed to constantly regenerate. And if metabolism is slow, healing is slow, inflammation stays longer, and acne lasts longer. And this is why eating enough, sleeping enough, and not living in a permanent calorie deficit is so important. A suppressed metabolism will always show up in your skin sooner or later. So hormones don't cause acne directly, but they create the internal environment where acne either appears or disappears. And if blood sugar is unstable, stress is chronic, and metabolism is slow, the skin will always reflect that. And no product in the world can override this signal. So after the hormones, the next system that controls your skin is the gut health. And for most people, this is actually the biggest one, because gut is basically the control center of inflammation. Whatever irritates your gut will eventually show up somewhere else in your body. And very often that place is your skin. Most people try to fix their gut by adding more things, more supplements, more powders and more probiotics, more superfoods. But gut healing works the opposite way. You don't heal the gut by adding more. You heal it by removing what constantly irritates it. And the first and biggest problem is ultra-processed foods and seed oils. These foods are not designed for the human digestive system. They spike blood sugar, disrupt cell membranes, and constantly activate the immune system. The body is basically in a low-grade inflammatory state all day. And when inflammation is high in the gut, it will be high in the skin too. The next one is sugar. Sugar feeds inflammation, increases insulin, and keeps the gut in a constant stress response. It also changes the gut environment in a way that favors irritation instead of healing. Even if everything else looks good, high sugar intake alone can keep acne alive. Then there are seeds and nuts. On paper, they look healthy, but for a stressed gut, they are extremely hard to digest. They contain anti-nutrients, are very dense, and mechanically irritate the intestinal lining. For many people, they create constant low-level inflammation without any obvious symptoms, except things like acne, bloating, or fatigue. And vegetables are similar, especially raw or fibrous vegetables. They increase digestive stress, require a lot of work from the gut, and keep the intestinal barrier irritated. Again, they're not bad, but in a system that is already inflamed, they often slow down healing instead of supporting it. And the last one is dairy. And not all dairy, but industrial dairy in particular. It contains proteins and hormones that can stimulate inflammation and immune reactions in sensitive people. And for a lot of people with acne, dairy alone is enough to keep the gut irritated, even if everything else is clean. And this is why gut healing always starts with removal. Remove ultra-processed food and seed oils. Remove sugars. Remove seeds and nuts. Remove hard to digest vegetables. And remove industrial dairy. And then give the system time to calm down. Once irritated is reduced, the gut can actually start to regenerate. Inflammation goes down, nutrient absorption improves, and the immune system stops firing all the time. And when that happens, the skin finally gets the signal that it's safe to heal. Gut health is not about optimization. It's about simplification. Fewer inputs, fewer irritations, fewer stressors. The gut only heals when you stop attacking it, and not when you stimulate it even more. So now we come to the third system that affects acne, which is external disruptors. And this is the layer most people focus on first, even though it's actually the last layer. External factors don't usually cause acne on their own, but they can completely block healing even if everything internally is improving. And one of the biggest one here is shampoo. Most people don't think about it, but shampoo runs over your face, neck, shoulders and back every single day. It contains chemicals, surfactants and fragrances that stay on the skin and create constant low-level irritation. For a lot of people, especially with acne on the back or shoulders, shampoo alone is enough to keep the skin inflamed. And the same applies to skincare, because most skincare routines damage the skin barrier instead of supporting it. And constant cleansing and acids and treatments strip away the natural protective layer of the skin. The body reacts by producing even more oil to protect itself. So the more you try to fix your skin from the outside, the more you often stimulate the exact problem you're trying to solve. And then there's hydration, which is another underestimated factor. Dehydrated skin heals slower and stays inflamed longer. Most people wake up already dehydrated and then start their day with coffee or stimulants. One of the easiest ways to support skin regeneration is simply proper hydration in the morning. And for me, raw milk works extremely well because it hydrates, provides electrolytes, and delivers nutrients that the skin actually uses for the repair. And when the body is properly hydrated, healing becomes much easier. And then there's also water, because water itself plays a role, especially hot showers. Hot water removes the natural oils from the skin and destroys the lipid barrier. This dries out the skin, increases sensitivity, and slows down regeneration. And the skin then compensates by producing more sebum, which again creates the perfect environment for clogged pores and inflammation. So even if hormones are improving and the gut is calming down, external disruptors can still keep the skin in a constant irritated state. Healing requires not only fixing the internal system, but also stopping the daily external stress that the skin is exposed to. And if you actually apply these things, if you fix your hormones, clean up your gut, and remove the external disruptors, your skin will change. And not because of one trick, but because the system finally gets the right signals. And I'm not saying this in theory. I showed you here my own pictures. I lived both sides and I know exactly how it feels to look in the mirror every day and feel uncomfortable in your own skin. And the biggest change for me wasn't just how my skin looked, it was how I felt, how I showed up in the world, how much mental space acne was taking up in my head before I fixed the root cause. Because acne is not just a skin issue, it affects your confidence, your behavior, and how you experience life. And that's why it's so important to actually understand what's going on instead of just covering it up with products and routines. This video is not about how quick fixes work, it's about giving you a framework so you can finally stop guessing. So you know what to change and why you're changing it and how the system really works. And once you fix the system, acne usually disappears as a side effect. And that's it. No hacks, no magic products, just understanding the root cause. And if you want more content like this, more explanations and more real examples, and just deeper insights into how I approach health and lifestyle, you can find everything on my Instagram, and I share a lot more there, not just about skin, but also about hormones, nutrition, training, and how all of this connects. It's the same idea as in this video, just in smaller pieces and more practical. So the link is in the description. And if this video was helpful, make sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. It really helps the channel and lets me know what you want to see next. So see you in the next video.